ICMS, which is the Institute of Cell and Molecular Science in London. We have something approaching 60,000 samples, and that's growing, and we need to be able to manage and to track exactly what happens to those samples. Moreover, we need to know who owns them. In a large institute, you get people coming and going. They store samples and they often leave, and nobody knows who owns them. With Item Tracker, that eliminates that. We insist that all samples have a label, and within that label it has the owner, and that's all embedded within Item Tracker. So we can simply look at a box that appears not to be owned by anybody, scan in the barcode, and that will tell us when it was put in, who owned it, and then we can then ask, do they want it? And if they don't, we can discard it to free up space. In this fridge, we have, as you can see, a totally unwrapped system in place here. So it's almost impossible to find samples easily and quickly without taking the samples at the front out and putting them on the floor. They're then defrosting, which may degrade them. This freezer is wrapped, so each shelving has racking on, and within that racking are the individual boxes with the individual samples, and each box, each sample within that box, within that racking system, has been labelled. So when I open this fridge, I already know where my sample is. I've used Item Tracker to actually pinpoint the actual box it's in, the actual level that it's on, so I can go straight to that, pull my sample or samples out. And we've rigorously enforced the use of it in the liquid nitrogen store.
For our business, we look at the quality of the sample when it comes in, i.e. we check the temperature because that's critical to the substances that we want to measure. We look at the volume we've got because for the assays that we do, we need a certain sample volume to make sure that we get accurate data from those samples. And there's a host of other features within Item Tracker that make logging the actual entries very easy. And with the system that we've got here, it makes it quite simple for the sample to come to the lab, for the sample to be checked, for the sample to be put into storage, and then for various details from the paperwork and the samples themselves to be entered into Item Tracker. For us, because the samples actually come in frozen, we can't stick labels directly onto them at that point. So what we will do is enter the details into Item Tracker then, and after that point, when the samples come out for assay, we then have the barcoded labels already prepared within Item Tracker, and they can then be printed out, put onto the tubes when they go back into the racked spaces within our -80 freezer. Job done. And we wanted from the system something as well that would actually integrate with the other devices that we've got in the lab, and eventually we hope to provide a portal for webs via our website so that we can actually make not obviously the each and every sample and how much we've got left and the things that are important to us in the lab available to the vets, but to let them know that their results, for example, whether it's possible to do a rerun with a certain sample and those bits of information, and being able to drag out certain information from Item Tracker to a piece of software middleware to process that data and then present that via a web portal to vets, we felt was something very valuable.